how all our stories today really did seem to connect, and it never ceases to amaze me how we come up with these separately. I mean, the way I do it is I just look at the news and I see which one
Jumps out at it.
kind of jumps out at me, or what did I hear about that kind of rang in my ear a little bit, my intuitive gift. And yeah, to me, it seemed like there was definitely, a common thread. And what I really like about what we did was that we tied it back to, now how do I work with this? Because I'll never have control over, for example, a sovereign fund. I mean, nobody's going to ask for my vote. Maybe someday they will, but I'm not playing that in those. I don't run in those circles.
Yeah, I think the thing I found good about this, and what I really like when we do this, is the fact that it's almost like whatever's happening here, it affects the world.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying America, like, even the stories like we talked about this week.
Yeah.
Gaza, we've talked about, the wealth things in different places. Yeah. So it's like everyone is affected because we're all working in the same way. I know that there are some countries that are like a little behind America and some are a little ahead of America. So it's a really good, for myself, perspective of really getting a look at, okay, where are things kind of going on energetically at this moment in time?
Yeah, I was really taken by the whole big picture common denominator for me in this last news run and this last week's stories. That word, big picture, and kind of coming from that higher place to solve things, coming from that higher place to think about things, that really stood out to me as a whole. And even though I brought it up while we were sharing, it's like, if I do what I've always done, I'm going to get what I've always got. And I just have the opportunity every single day to keep coming home to my bigger picture, keep opening myself to that spiritual perspective, or the divine, or whatever you want to call that. Like, I have that opportunity every day. Every time I open my eyes, like, I got it. And so that common thread of the bigger picture really stood out to me. And I think it was indicative of the week for me as well. I think that was the other part of it. So that's how powerful it is to me, is to be able to regroup about this stuff and bring it home to how I can work with it.
Yeah, and it seems to me also that a lot of the stories that we choose really kind of go side and side with what we're going through.
Yeah.
I mean, because even like, we've been doing some money, shifting money around and stuff in our our own wealth and whatever, and then we talk about that part of it today. So it's just interesting how these different stories really kind of coincide with what we're all going through.
Yeah. As I tune into my true feelings and be able to work with the divine and work with my feelings for solutions, if we just get a few more people, or maybe a lot more people, get that 1% of people just operating from that pivot point of view,
right, 4%.
Then we can move fast. I mean, we can implement solutions, and we can, and it might not be perfect, but then we restructure it, we refine it, right. And then people feel that fulfillment of doing that, as opposed to, the game of just being blocked by concepts of what's moral and what our moral issues are. But if I make decisions based on dogma or my intellect, right, I'm just going to be putting out fires. I'm going to be responding to fears, rather than if I can get more working with my inner soul nature, tune into that inner wisdom for those solutions, and just make that a habit. Get used to doing that. Get used to feeling, organizing, taking action, constructive thought, constructive action.
So let's regroup our words. So what was your keyword for this session?
My keyword was open for our session, and just the things that stood out to me was be open to that bigger picture, be open to all the backing and support that I have. I've got 4 spiritual gifts. I've got a team of helpers. I have all the wisdom of the universe available to me, kind of thing. So it's just being open to that and being discerning of when I'm not working with that. And the highlight really just had to do with some of your all unique perspectives on it, and what came through, and also the common denominators of how they all tied together, what's going on this week. I've said that last week. It's always amazing how that happens. I guess it's not amazing, just kind of normal, but those are the key points for me.
Yeah, for me, mine was simplicity. And so I found that the less complex I thought about things, the more I got out of my intellect and really into my heart, and really shared, what I was really feeling about situations. That it really, it kept it simple. And a highlight for myself was, of course, being the teamwork, really, and not only ours, but also our backing of our spiritual team, because it's really powerful, and the room is filled with lots of energy for us to really share freely, and also to be in a simple, not complex way, because there's so many things nowadays that are so complex.
Yeah.
Like, people really need that simple aspect.
Yes.
And when you were talking earlier also about talking about the macro versus the micro,
Right.
because I think people are so into the micro. I got to micro this and micro that and micromanage, and it's like, step back, guys, and look at the bigger picture of where we're at, flying through the universe. And so keeping it simple for myself was really key today, and it was a great opportunity again.
Yeah, my key word for this was complete. And, when I share, I like to share, the feeling, like what inspires me, what feels right about that. I like to share some of my reactions, which obviously my reactions are some of my concepts, like, oh my God, oh wow. And then I like to share, what I've kind of discern, and then what action we could take, and come back and, do that full cycle. But what really struck me is it's okay for me to share some of the emotional stimulation that I get from some of these stories, because that's all part of me discovering where I'm at with things. And so that's how to complete the process.
Until next week.
Until next week.
Booyah!
Same bat time.
Same bat station.